And now, it's my great pleasure to introduce a man who's standing at the very front lines of this world, I think. He's a former Marine and an Iraq War vet. He ran for Congress in New Mexico. More recently, he was the host of Adam versus the Man. You guys know what I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Kokesh.
Tonight, yeah! Alright, I was told there was going to be a teleprompter.
Yes! Yeah, absolutely. At the
I got to call Gary Franchi, though. The reality report, now featuring twice the reality. Tom Woods is here. Now hold on a second, before I reveal the secret Tom Woods Achieving Liberty strategy, let me ask you a question to this crowd. Does anybody here at all know exactly what happened on 9/11? No? Okay, good. I was afraid this was going to be some kind of truther event. We wouldn't want to piss off the Republican Party leadership, right? You know, the ones that take the message of the Constitution and pervert it into one of war and empire and welfareism for the military-industrial complex. We wouldn't want to piss them off with something like, say, questioning government. No, heaven forbid. But let me just say, I am not now, nor have I ever been, a truther. You're not supposed to clap that. But let me just say, if you really believe everything the government has told you about what happened on 9/11, you're a fucking moron! Or one of those unquestioning Sean Hannity bootlegger types, but whatever. And if you're the one who's using the term truther to insult people who have the courage to question what happened on 9/11, given what has happened as a result, you're a fucking asshole. So I'm sorry, I don't have a teleprompter here, so I don't know what Putin wants me to say tonight, so I'm going to have to kind of read in some notes here, so bear with me. So the Tom Woods strategy, the secret strategy for achieving liberty. Where's Tom? Is he here? Oh, he's upstairs. The secret Tom Woods strategy for achieving liberty. Well, I'm not going to say that because tonight's not about complaining. This is not supposed to be a bitch fest. This is not supposed to be railing against tyranny. No, we are here to achieve liberty. We are here to enjoy liberty and celebrate liberty. Oh, and by the way, the Tom Woods strategy for achieving liberty is to outbreed the statists. So, are there any single people here tonight? First of all, wait, let me rephrase that. Are there any single women here tonight?
Slim to none.
I want every one of you to go home pregnant. But none of this compares to Stefan Molyneux's strategy for achieving liberty, because Stefan Molyneux, and he's not going to admit this. I'm really telling you things that I shouldn't be making public. And believe me, I've got a lot. But Stefan Molyneux, you know, he talks a lot about nonviolent parenting and the importance of raising the next generation in a spirit of love and respect. And he's taking it to the next level. His new job, he's going to be a high school guidance counselor. Can you imagine that? Stefan Molyneux was a high school guidance counselor? Well, first of all, you shouldn't be in this government-run school in the first place. Oh, well, thanks. That's really helpful advice. So we're not supposed to talk about 9/11, right? Okay, so there was a story I want to share today from the Associated Press. No sign of U.S. entry for terror plot. Oh, well, that's a relief. The government is looking out for us, and there are no threats to us whatsoever. Tomorrow, we can all celebrate 9/11 however we want safely, right? The first line of the story is, U.S. intelligence agencies have found no evidence that Al-Qaeda has sneaked any terrorists into the country for a strike coinciding with the 10th anniversary of the September 11 attacks. Senior official said Saturday. You see how they turn that around on you? It's a statement of fact, and then, oh, by the way, the government said it. Okay. So, is there going to be an attack tomorrow? Is anybody like on pins and needles anticipating like almost at home? Okay, good. But you know, if something were to happen tomorrow, what would be far more important than the attack would be our response. And I want to put the issue of 9/11 in context here, at least as I have for myself, in terms of my worldview and what it means to be a voluntarist libertarian who wants to see that reality achieved. 9/11, it's not that important. I'm sorry. It's important to question government, absolutely. But you're telling me that a government that started a war that's killed thousands, if not millions of people, and is still just destroying the economy, an excuse to take our liberties, and you want to tell me that what you want to focus on is the excuse that they came up with to do all that? Like, come on. I mean, 9/11 was a tragedy. And I don't mean to downplay that at all. And there was some incredible heroism demonstrated on that day that deserves respect. But you know, the rest of the almost 3,000, which originally was upwards of 5,000 anyways, were random people that happened to be in certain places, in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now people are saying, remember the victims of 9/11. Remember the 3,000 heroes. Sorry to break it to you guys, but of all of those people that happened to be in the World Trade Center, some of them were probably assholes. But the reason they tell you, remember 9/11, isn't for any of the sentimental bullshit. Isn't because something important has happened. When they say, remember 9/11, remember 9/11, let's remind them why they need us. Remember 9/11 and forget about Iraq. Forget about Afghanistan. Forget about unemployment. Forget about bailouts. Forget about rich CEOs in the military-industrial complex. And remember 9/11. Now, there may be an attack tomorrow, but it doesn't matter. And here's the fundamental, most important reason why it doesn't matter if America is attacked tomorrow. 9/11 wasn't an attack that was intended to hurt America. The fact that 3,000 people died was insignificant. The goal of the terrorists, allegedly, was not to kill 3,000 people. The goal was to make America what it looks like today. When you have your victim already in the trap, use economic power. Like, oh my God, they did it. When I was at lunch earlier today, there was a great lunch put on by the organizers. Thank you for that. Will Duffield was there, a friend of mine who's active with Anonymous. I'm not going to call him out because he's not 21. I'm talking about 1984. Now this guy, he's like I said, he's less than 21. So when 9/11 happened, he was pretty young. He didn't have a full adult perspective on the world. And as a teenager, he read the book, 1984. Well, when I read it, it was actually futuristic. When he read it, it was a description of his reality, and he was able to see that. 1984 has become what we have today. It's not future anymore. It's not, it's you know, and the timing of it, 1984, wasn't that optimistic. All right. So, as you said, I was in the Marines. I served in Fallujah in 2004. I thought they'd be like, yeah, mixed reaction. I got some booze. All right, boo. All right. I was in Fallujah for 7 months, and I served in civil affairs. And I thought that what we were going to be doing, based on what we were told, was, you know, helping people and reaching out and interacting with the locals. And they said that they accepted me. I had a transfer. I volunteered to go. I really went out of my way to volunteer. And they said, oh, well, you're majoring in psychology and government. Those will be good skills for civil affairs. I'm like, okay, we're going to be psychoanalyzing the Iraqi people and designing local governments for them and bringing them freedom and democracy. And I really thought that. For all of the troops that thought that's what we were doing. For no one but those of us in civil affairs, it was more apparent, painfully apparent, that we were there as a fig leaf. That wasn't the point of it. I mean, we were supposed to be the tip of the spear, leading the charge, right? Because what they were telling us that we were doing in civil affairs was sounding just like the politicians' rhetoric of justifying the whole adventure in the first place. So, I found out the hard way that the greatest enemies of the Constitution were not to be found in the sands of Iraq, but right here at home. I just want to say, for all of the, I feel really bad now. I came all the way to New York City. Oh my God. I get to address a crowd like this, and I didn't give a shout out to New York. But for all of the libertarians who are here and the organizers of this event, let's have a round of applause for those fighting for freedom in the belly of the state. So I want to share another line from this AP story today. And this comes from FBI Assistant Director James McJunkin, as in junking your freedom. Okay. Thank you, yeah, boo the bad jokes. Okay, he said, it's college football Saturday. Anybody catching games today? It's college football Saturday. Tomorrow is the start of the NFL season. And by the way, the Associated Press spelled that out in parentheses, National Football League. In case any Americans didn't know what NFL stands for. So we expect the public is going to be out enjoying what it means to be American. Boo. Can I get a boo for the FBI? Is that what it means to be American? I think this is what it means to be American. But anytime people try to say, this is what it means to be American, they can't do it without appealing to something deeper and broader. Because it's supposed to mean something more than that. It's supposed to be about something having to do with liberty, right? I mean, is it football or freedom? I'm not sure sometimes, but for freedom, okay, freedom. I was ready to give a speech about and how football actually, because football is a bastardization of rugby, and it's symbolic of the bastardization of the ideals of what it meant to be American. All right, I'm a sports nerd, I'm a rugby nerd, so I'll stay off that. But when people say like, what it really means to be American, when you get them down to the core of it, when it's not waving a flag or going out and voting or watching football and cheering for your team, everything that people say, every good answer you've ever heard about what it means to be American gets to something so much deeper than that can't have anything to do with the arbitrary lines on the maps that politicians drew and said, all right, everything in here is America, and everything out is screw you guys. It doesn't work that way. And I think what's happening in the world today, and I'd like to think that the libertarian community in the United States, because of our tradition, which is worthy of being proud of. I am proud to be a part of the American tradition of fighting for freedom because it is a universal human value. And the awareness of that, thanks to the internet, remember we used to call it the World Wide Web, is that universal understanding that the activists in this room are creating every time you log on, every time you comment on a Facebook post, every time you make a tweet, every time you comment on a YouTube video, every time you post your own video. It's global. What is coming together is a hive mind like humanity has never been capable of. This is the revolution right here. And the message of liberty, I mean, let's get down to it. The philosophical core of the message of liberty, it's really simple. It's really simple. All human interactions should be free of force, violence, and coercion. But that's how Stefan Molyneux would say it. You heard the same message in kindergarten. Remember? Don't hit. Don't steal. Play nice. It wasn't, don't hit unless you have a badge. Don't steal unless you're an IRS agent. I don't remember that shit from kindergarten. I don't know about you, but my kindergarten teacher was like, no, you don't hit, you don't steal. I don't know, maybe the kids that grow up to be IRS agents were like, but teacher, what if the government says it's okay? What if democracy says it's okay? What if the majority says it's okay? Oh man, I'm just tired of hearing this democracy bullshit. Democracy is bad for minorities. It's the majority imposing its will on the minority. How freaking hard is it to grasp that? But all right.
Save the republic.
Back to a little more. Thank you. Save the republic. Because in a republic, at least, the rights of individuals are supposed to be sacrosanct. But we want to talk about achieving liberty. We want to talk about something positive and what makes people happy, right? Is everybody happy here tonight? Come on. There was a study put out recently, and I love saying there was a study and then forgetting all the details, but there was a study out recently. Oh, by the way, 85.693% of all statistics are total bullshit, made up from nuclear. This is a psychology study that looked at what makes people happy. And they were trying to examine the relationship between money and happiness. And there's the age-old question, can you buy happiness? What do you think? Can you buy happiness? The answer is sort of. Because the single greatest corollary, as the psychologists put it, to happiness was autonomy. Does anybody here know another word for autonomy? Imagine that. And so the answer in sort of is yes, you can have enough money to be autonomous, but depending on your circumstances, you don't really need to buy happiness that way, and at some point, this is why you have diminishing returns. Makes sense, right? If you're going to be miserable, you don't know how to use money to make yourself happy or autonomous, the next $1 million isn't going to help you out anymore. So, I want to take the long view of human history, because to me, that's what's inspiring, that's what gives me hope, that's what's motivational, that's what keeps me going. When I look at the history of our species, we have gone from the law of the jungle, when whoever could pick up the biggest rock was in charge, to tribalism, socialism, or feudalism, socialism, communism, all the different forms of government. But where we're coming to today, it seems like we have actually made a lot of progress from back then, have we not? Can we celebrate that? Seriously, if you were born 200 years ago, how much less personal autonomy might you have? How much less freedom might you effectively have, say, in a feudal system? And now we talk about jobs. It's all about jobs. You gotta have a job. By the way, I don't know if you heard, but I don't have a job. And I'm very happy. When the cotton gin was invented, no one complained about all of the jobs it eliminated, right? All right, so here's a little extrapolation from my humble understanding of Austrian economics. Specialization of labor, Econ 101, stuff like that. Really basic concepts, all right? As productivity has increased, human beings have had to find other things to fill their time. When we were in the state of nature, so to speak, or just look back 200 or 300 years, human beings spent most of their time figuring out how they were going to have a roof over their heads and what they were going to eat. Today, we don't even have to think about it. Think about that for a second. How awesome is it to be a human being alive in 2011? We are at the start of that exponential curve of productivity taking off. Now, all of the new jobs that we have, all of the increases in specialization, or specialization of labor, they come from our ability to meet those basic human needs more efficiently, right? But what happens when we get to the point where you don't have to work a 5-day week, even if you're just a regular day laborer, to sustain yourself or a family? What happens when we get to the point where you can work for, 1 or 2 hours a week, and in 1 or 2 hours a week, you will be productive enough to supply the basic needs for your entire family? We're going in that direction. And if you compare that to looking back 300 years ago, shit, we're halfway there. Andy Warhol said, right, 15 minutes of fame. Well, my 15 minutes are almost up, but 15 minutes of fame. Everybody's going to get a lot more time than that. We are all going to be engaged in something other than providing for basic necessities. And you are going to have a choice in what that is and what you want to do to serve your fellow human beings. For me, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than this. But I mean, are you guys aware of have you guys heard of the MakerBot? Has anyone heard of the MakerBot? Come on, it was on the Colbert Report. I mean, I get my news from Comedy Central and my comedy from Fox, right? But I get the truth from the reality show. Now with 3 times the reality. But in this day and age, I mean, look, it's 2011, even an asshole like me can get a legitimate television program. Hunter-gatherer society would not support this. And I'm happy to announce that Adam vs. the Man will be returning in a daily production format in several weeks. And that's all I can say for now. But I started with a question, and I'd like to end with a question. Do you ever just stop and marvel And what an amazing experience it is. What a beautiful experience it is to be a human being. If not, feel free to do so right now. Thank you.